Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for coming out here today. I very much appreciate it. I'd like to say hello to all the folks at home as well. We're here today to celebrate and begin the groundbreaking for the newest addition to one of our parks here in the community. Before I do that, though, I want to take a moment to recognize and in remembrance of a fallen comrade, Larry Crenshaw, a member of our Anderson Police Department, detective with the Anderson Police Department, served previously as chief of the police here in our community for several years. Well-known individual who has a very loving family and who is a very loving family man. I'd like to take a moment and ask all of you to keep in your memories, thoughts, and prayers his family, his wife Laura, and his children, grandchildren, brothers, sisters. And so if you would, we'll just take a moment in memory of Larry. Thank you very much. About 4.5 years ago, when I became mayor, one of the things that I wanted to do was to make a real effort at continuing to improve our quality of life here in our community. And of course, quality of life means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. It can be good jobs, better jobs, it can be good roads, good sidewalks, great parks, a lot of different amenities. So one of the things that we did concentrate on, in addition to some of those other things, are parks. And we, as you know, in the last 4 years or so, made major improvements to 18 or 20 of our parks, everything from new shelters to new bathrooms and new equipment, repaved trails and so forth. But we really wanted to make some major stabs at a couple of our properties that we had that hadn't had any serious improvements in years and years. And one of those properties is Mays Park, where we stand here today. None of this would have been possible, though, none of these improvements and none of these efforts at really making grand visions come to reality had it not been for our progressive leadership and membership of our Anderson Parks Department. And in a few moments, I'm going to have a couple of folks from that department to step up and say a few words. But I would like to recognize and I would like to thank our president of the Anderson Parks Board, Betty Williams. Betty is here in center front. Also, Jack Kiesling, who is a member. He's a gentleman taking a couple of pictures right now. Randy McVeigh, I'm not sure if Randy's here. He may be at work right now. And also Kenny Davenport, who's over here as well. I want to thank you guys for everything you do and all the support you've shown the administration as we've moved forward on these projects. Because as you know, in addition to Mays Park, we're also looking at making major improvements at Athletic Park, and we're looking forward to unveiling and moving forward on that as well. But we're very happy that our first phase, really, of these major improvements is here at Mays Park, where so many folks over the years will remember some of the neat things that people did here in this area. And I'd also like to recognize, also being part of all this, and also be making a few comments here in a few moments, our Superintendent, Jama Donovan. Jama, thank you for everything you're doing in your leadership. And Tom Tackett, our Maintenance Superintendent, who's also here. Tom does a great deal, along with his staff, to make sure that all of our parks continue and have continuing maintenance and upkeep, which is a real undertaking when you consider the number of properties that we have, that we do have here in the community. I want to also take a moment and acknowledge a person who's been long gone but not forgotten, and that's a gentleman by the name of James May. Mr. May and his family owned the property that we're standing on right now. In fact, he lived just right down the block here, around the 600 block of this 10th Street. And Mr. May was the owner of May's Supply. And it's May, M-A-Y, not Mays. Well, I would say Mays, but it's actually May. And Mr. May owned May Supply. And one of the legacies that he left behind, and he passed away in 1961, but one of the legacies that he left behind was this property to be able to be used and developed by the Anderson City Park Department. And going all the way back into the days of Ralph Ferguson, who was mayor back in the 60s, they began the work in this particular park. And it was back in those days that they originally came up with the ice skating rink. And I had forgotten until I read a couple news archives that the ice skating rink was subsequently enlarged and made bigger at a later point in time. And you may remember, a lot of you guys are probably old enough to remember coming out here and skating when you were young folks. And it was really a cool thing, and it was really well received. And then, of course, we later had the tennis courts over here, and it was a location of an annual tennis outing that was sponsored by one of our local banks, and it was always very, very well attended. And in the later years, we put the skate park over here that's here now. And I know in talking to the kids and they're not hardly kids, some of these kids are like 20, 21, 22, 23 years old, but they really enjoy it. And they tell me that this is one of the better skate parks really in the region. So we're really happy that we're going to be able to keep that feature. We're happy we're going to be able to improve that. But we're particularly excited about all the neat stuff we're going to do out here, from brand new tennis courts to brand new pickleball courts to 2 new shelters, new restrooms. The skate park, like I said, is going to be upgraded and improved. We're going to have new basketball courts as well installed. And then, of course, the really neat brand new feature that we've not seen in our community, a splash pad, along with a lot of playground equipment. And all this stuff's going to be really second to none. And I think you're going to find this to be not only an exciting, new transformative property here in our community, but it's also going to be a draw to bring folks into our community to check it out. And so we're looking very forward to this. We would not have been able to also do this without the great work of HWC, an engineering firm who's worked with us for really months and months on this. We also want to thank all of the folks in the community that came to our community meetings to discuss and to let us know what they were interested in seeing. We've tried to incorporate as best we can the different ideas from folks. That way it's meaningful to not only those of us that are helping to put it together, but those that are actually going to be using it when it's all said and done. So again, a big thanks to all of you for everything that you've done. At this time, I'd like to go ahead and ask Corey Weitzel of HWC to step up. Corey, like I said, has been a lead engineer on this. They've had a team of several folks working on it. We went through, you can't believe how many renderings and decision-making process, again, and having meetings with the public and also with various staff folks. And they've done a great job, and I think you're going to be very impressed when it's done. But Corey, why don't you come on up, introduce yourself, and talk a little bit about the project and what we might expect to see.
It's so good to see everybody out here. What a great day to have a groundbreaking for an exciting new park facility. My name is Corey Weitzel. I'm the director of our planning and community development projects at HWC, and we've been really excited about being part of the transformation of this park. With me today, Jonathan Smith is over here. Jonathan does all the hard work, so we need to give him the acknowledgement, but he's the designer that's led so much of what's going on here. The thing that we always strive for is, how do we really make a park that impacts the community, that helps out, that serves what the people here are interested in? And it took a lot of work to go through those extra steps of listening to what the community wanted, making adjustments and changes, but that's part of the process, and that's what makes it so worth it in the end, to see something that'll really make a difference. When this is done, what you will see is a really exciting new playground facility at the centerpiece of this park. Next to it will be a splash pad, dump bucket, and a series of amenities to keep kids cool on a hot summer day. We're excited to see shelter facilities, be 2 shelter facilities, 2 sets of restroom facilities, 1 on both sides of the street so kids don't have to go back and forth across the street for the restrooms. The tennis, the pickleball courts, as well as upgraded basketball courts will all be part of it. And then connecting sidewalks so that you can get from the sidewalks on the east and west ends and connect that back to Madison. All those little things with the walking paths in addition really are going to make a big difference when this is done. So we're excited to see what this looks like as it comes together, and look forward to turning Splash Pad on next summer. Thank you.
Thank you, Corey. Thank you very much. Next up, I'd like to have Betty Williams. Betty, again, our president of the Park Board. Betty has been very instrumental, not only in this project, but in so many other areas of making our parks a great place for kids to play. And Betty, thank you for all you do, and thank you for all your friendship.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Good afternoon. It is my pleasure to represent the City of Anderson's Park and Recreation Board. I am pleased and proud to have been involved with this memorable groundbreaking ceremony here on the west side of Anderson. It is a huge accomplishment for us to have been able to work through some challenges, but we got it done. Thank you, Mayor, Superintendent Donovan, City Council, and those that have been involved with this project. Special thanks to my board members, Jack Kiesling, Randy McVeigh, and Kenny Davenport, for your leadership and commitment to serve. Also, I would like to say thank you to the community and especially the residents on the West Side for your concerns and recommendations. We greatly appreciated them. And now we wait for Fredericks to begin work and look forward to next year to see this great park project come to light. Thank you.
Thank you, Betty. And now I'd like to call up Jama Donovan. Jama, our park superintendent, who also works really around the clock to keep our community moving in the right direction. Jama.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a really exciting day. I'm so excited. As an Anderson resident, I've also worked on the west side of town prior to coming to the city, and I've always driven by this park and just have always said there could be something great here. I'm really excited to be a part of an administration that's ready to take those steps to make this park something really, really special for Anderson. I feel like this park has, over the years, lived very many singular lives. It's been the skate park, the ice skating park, and then it's been the home of Anderson High School's tennis teams where they practice. So I'm really excited that now it's going to be a park that's going to encompass everything and be a park for everyone all throughout Anderson. So I'm really excited. It's a lot of hard work. I've loved the teamwork. I appreciate Tom Tackett very much with all of his help and leadership with his team. And it's been a fun ride. So thank you very much, everyone, for coming out today.
Well, thank you again, and again, and also a shout out and a thanks to Fredericks. As you know, we went through a bidding process. We really were excited. We had 8 different companies bid on this project, which shows the excitement that folks had in wanting to be involved. And Fredericks, who of course is a local contractor, came in with a really great bid, which we really appreciated. And we're really excited about the product that they're going to build for us. So again, I want to thank everybody for coming. And at this moment, I'd like to ask the folks that I think's already been reached out to come up and grab us on the shovels. We'll get a couple pictures taken, then we'll count it down and do the official turning of the soil. And then anybody wants any refreshments, do so. I want to thank you again, everybody, for being here. I really do appreciate it. Definitely stop by and watch as they move forward. I think you're going to be just amazed at what you see, and again, the transformative nature of this area. And I think everybody, from the little kids enjoying it to the adults that come here and watch their children enjoy it, are going to be very excited. So again, thank you so very much for your time and coming out today, especially at a time when we're all concerned about everyone's health. So thank you again.